Alrighty, welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch. We're wrapping it up for a crazy week right here. And when you're wrapping up a crazy week, you got to bring in a heavy-duty cleanup batter. And to join us today to clean it all up for the week, Kevin Jackson is with us, a great friend of the show, radio talk show host, author of Race Pimpin', the multi-trillion-dollar business of liberalism. Kev, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. And it sure seems like somebody has a vested interest in keeping this racial division going.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, first of all, very happy to do this show. Frank and I have been trying to get this scheduled for seems like a year.
That's right,
and,
literally.
Yeah, and we finally made it happen. So I'm happy to be on. I hate that it's always in issues like this. When I do radio with Frank, as he knows, I'm usually on to give some construct around what's going on in the Black community. And this stuff that's going on right now is insane. And quite frankly, it's embarrassing. As a Black man growing up in this country, I'm an American first, but as a person who culturally understands the Black condition, grew up Black, father in San Quentin, mother died when I was young, raised by my grandparents, scrapping it on the streets every day, beating people up when they were coming at me and stuff. And I look at this and I go, man, we're the softest group of people on the planet. This dude gets killed. It's a tragedy. We all agree about it. George Floyd is who I'm talking about. And suddenly we got to burn everything down. No justice, no peace. And it made me think about Randy. You remember Randy Moss? We went to the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
He wore that tie, had 13 people dead on it, 13 blacks killed, unarmed blacks killed by cops. I looked at every one of those cases. Do you know in 4 of those cases, the cops were arrested. In many of the cases, they were fired. And in almost every one of the cases, the family got a huge settlement where it was wrong. There was justice. And just like with George Floyd, you couldn't act any faster in solving this issue. I mean, the DOJ was on it. Minneapolis was on it. The governor was on it for the state. And still, Black folks got to burn stuff down. And here's the thing. It's not just Black folks burning things down. I call it Black Lives Matter with white supervision. Because it was white kids giving out Molotov cocktails, white kids throwing bricks and giving out bricks to Black kids, white kids painting BLM on buildings. So it wasn't even Black people doing it. We were just looking at the injustice, which, by the way, was still, we could all agree that a cop should not kill somebody in custody no matter what. But this is where we are, and it's the sad state of affairs.
Yeah, you're so right, Kevin. I'm curious. What do you think of the reaction from so many to, on a cultural level, we're seeing television shows like Cops and PD Live canceled. On a motion picture level, we're seeing Gone with the Wind erased from HBO Max. We're seeing on a musical level, Lady Antebellum change their name to Lady A. Certainly from a policy and a political perspective, these new police reforms that Andrew Cuomo signed into law today. What do you think it is about this particular incident that has led to so many changes, whereas prior incidents of police misconduct, even when they were caught on video, haven't led to this?
Democrats know this is their last chance because Donald Trump is not going to stand for this much longer, and neither the American people. So this, to me, is the last hurrah. They say things like, we got to get rid of the cops because it depicts Black people wrong, or live PD. We're talking about reality TV, folks, that they want to get rid of. We're not talking about Chicago PD, where you can make up a scenario about Black people. We're talking about real life TV, and they're going, don't believe that reality TV where they're arresting Black folks. Really? Have you ever watched First 48? I defy any leftist to watch First 48. They go from city to city, and do you know what they show? They show Black cops on the beat arresting Black perps. You know who those Black perps have hurt? Black people. But because Black Lives Matter wants to spread a bunch of lies, you can't talk about that. You can't talk about that for every one person killed by police, shot at by police, and shot by a police officer, for every Black person shot, 270 other Black people were shot by other Black folks. Those are the numbers. But we got to lie. We got to pretend. So let's remove cops because you know what? There are too many Black people getting arrested. Let's remove live PD because there are too many Black people getting arrested. Let's make the fake narrative of the number of Blacks being killed by cops. And let's completely gloss over the fact that every single year, 20 or more unarmed white people who have far less confrontations than Blacks with police are killed by police. Let's not talk about any of that. See, this is why people are waking up, Frank and John. People are finally going, I see the statistics. I see the pandering with the Democrats on taking a knee, wearing African garb, which was fun watching them try to get up, those bunch of old
Yeah,
farts.
right. The Kente
But,
really went over well.
Right. But watching all this pandering, Joe Biden just today, guys, said that the death of George Floyd
That's
is
right.
more important. Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me this,
Yeah.
Frank. Right? Yeah, the death of George Floyd is more important than the death of Martin Luther King. That's how silly we are.
That's insane. Even more than that, I, Kevin, am going crazy about the fact that the cop left the village people. So the village people don't even have a cop anymore. Okay? But, on the break, I was saying something to you that I think people should keep in mind. Like, when they're trying to condition younger people's minds. I played sports my whole life, played football. You're in the huddle, and there's a great video out from Georgia Tech that talks about the huddle. A good friend of mine is actually doing some construction at the University for the Deaf in D.C., where they invented the huddle. And I always say this, when you're in the huddle, when you're in a team, you're part of someone, they throw the water bottles in on a timeout. You don't look around and see who's black or who's white or who's gay. You just take a swig of water because you're with your brothers. And I wish they would just let kids let that grow inside them, that I don't care if my friend is black. We're going to drink from the same bottle. We're going to fight for the same thing. And I feel like the colleges are just killing it. Our final minute, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, they say racism is a disease that adults spread by giving it to their children. And that's essentially what you're saying. Look, if we all grew up together, me, you, and Frank, I guarantee you we would be boys. It wouldn't matter that you guys are Italian, I'm black. If we were from the same block, et cetera, we wouldn't care. And that's the way the world works. That's the way America works. The sad part is there's too much money in the other side. Follow the money in this George Floyd thing. $13 million this guy has in a GoFundMe. They got scholarships are naming after this guy.
How much money does David Dorn's family have in his GoFundMe?
Good question.
Yeah.
Name one of the cops. Do you know in 2014, 15, and 16, in 2014, 42 cops killed by 51 cops killed by perps, 42 in 2015, and 64 in 2016.
Ouch.
I bet you they can't name one.
Ouch. All right, we got to leave it there, Kev. Thanks for cleaning it up for us today.
Thank you,
want a
Kevin.
cleanup hitter? You bring in Kevin Jackson to put an
No, you ain't got
exclamation point
nothing
on the
on me.
week. And Kevin Jackson, we got to have you back soon. All of you watching out there, we got to have you back Monday, same bat time, same bat channel, more Liquid Lunch.